name is Jason J. Rock Houston. You guys are listening to an interview being done for Chaotic Riffs Magazine. It's my great pleasure to be speaking with Geoff Tate, the lead singer from Operation Mindcrime. How are you doing tonight, Geoff?
Doing wonderful.
Now, the last time I talked to you was around the time you were releasing Frequency Unknown, and now you got this great Operation Mindcrime album out. And I want to talk to you a little bit about, obviously, you and the Queensryche guys came to a settlement where, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're now able to use the Operation Mindcrime name, obviously, and you got the rights to perform all that material in concert. Is that pretty much what the agreement was?
Yeah, pretty much, in a nutshell.
And that's great. I mean, I think it's really everybody kind of wins if you know what I mean, because in that way you're kind of moving forward. You're not relying so heavily on your past with Queensryche, and you're able to put out a great new album like The Key. And it seems like this album's a little more focused than Frequency Unknown. Do you feel that way as well?
Well, it's a completely different framework of ideas.
Yeah.
This album, The Key, tells a story. It's a conceptual piece. The first part of three planned trilogy. And Frequency Unknown was a collection of songs.
Yeah.
Unrelated songs, like a lot of albums are.
Yeah. Now let me ask you, because at the time Frequency Unknown was released as a Queensryche album, and my question moving forward, any chance that you'll be playing any of those Frequency Unknown tunes into your set?
Yeah, there's a chance I'll be playing at least one of them.
Oh.
Yeah, I think that I have a lot of material to choose from. It's always difficult to pick a set list. There's so many choices.
And so, did you know right away that this was going to be a concept album, or did you just kind of start writing the tunes and kind of come up with the concept as you were going?
I've been interested in the idea of a trilogy for quite some time, and I wanted to. It's always been, I guess, one of my dreams actually to write a in-depth story that would be able to be covered by 3 records.
Yeah, cool.
So, this was really the culmination of a dream for me.
And I understand that you've pretty much, obviously the Key's out right now, and you've got pretty much the second album already in the can. So what's the time frame as far as, obviously right now you're busy touring to support the Key, but what's the time frame that you're looking to release the next, part 2 of this trilogy?
Next year. Yeah, sometime in next September, I believe it is.
Oh, that's cool. So it gives you a whole year to work this album. And now I was interested because one thing I noticed is you got an array of musicians on the album. And Simon Wright and Randy Gaine, these are 2 guys that have been with you for the last couple of years. And is this kind of project where you just call up, like, let's say you feel Brian Tishy's right for a particular track, and he might play on one track, Simon might play on one track?
Yeah, I tried to match the musician with the performance or with the part. I've played with most of these guys over the years. Randy Gaine and Kelly Gray I've been playing music with and writing music with since 1979. So we go way back.
Wow.
I kind of know these guys pretty well and what they do and what they love doing. And so I tried to match the musician with the song. And that seemed to work really well. And a bunch of really great performers, really great musicians on this album. A lot of people with a lot of passion, performing, which I really love.
And so, as far as the recording of these tracks, like you'd obviously go in and record the vocal parts and that, but were you actually in the studio with the guys, or would they like kind of send you their parts?
Yeah, we recorded bass and drums at a studio in Seattle.
Oh, okay.
And I attended those sessions, and then we recorded Kelly and Scott's guitars at Kelly's house, and vocals and keyboards at my house, in my studio. So yeah, we kind of worked like I guess 3 or 4 different studios around the Seattle area.
Yeah, and what amazes me about listening to the Key, Geoff, is like for me and a lot of other Queensryche fans, obviously you're the voice of Queensryche, if you know what I mean, and you put if you intended this or not, you put this album on, and it's just got that classic Geoff Tate sound. I mean, it really comes across as a focused album. I just love the way the tracks flow together. It kind of leading it from one track into the next track.
Yeah. Oh, good. Well, I'm glad you enjoy that.
And let me ask you, as far as the writing, what was the song? I mean, did you? I seen you collaborate with some of the guys, but did you sit down and actually write the stuff together?
Yeah, quite a bit of it actually. I wrote the story while I was on a hiking trip across northern Spain.
Wow.
And when I got back to Seattle, I started composing music for it. So I had quite a few months on my own coming up with ideas, musical ideas for the record. Then I brought Kelly and Randy and Scott in on it, and started talking with them and playing them the music that I'd written for it, and so we got a real consensus at that point of what we wanted to do, with the records, and kind of took it all from there, and just went on a real writing binge. We completed 2 records and about 90% of the third record in that year period.
Wow.
So it was a really, really good and very productive writing time.
And so as far as
everything else in my life went by the wayside, but the writing's cool.
Yeah, as far as the writing, did you write these tracks cut in a specific order, based on the concept? Is that how the albums appear on the?
Kind of take it.
Yeah.
For me, I kind of break things down into an outline and then kind of find musical figures that I like, that I feel are representative of the scene. I kind of think of an album as a film. And each song is like a scene in the film.
Now, talking about that, going down the line, once you've had a chance to go on tour, perform some of this material live, have you given any thought to putting together maybe a film or something to go along with the album?
Yeah, there's all kinds of cool visuals that you could really put with this. Yeah, definitely, good idea.
Yeah, and let me ask you, because again, I think this is very exciting. You've got already 2 albums in the can, and you said the third one's kind of halfway done now. Is kind of the thought process, okay, we're going to kind of take a break from recording the third album and go on tour and then come back to it later, and I imagine doing it that way kind of keeps things fresh for you.
Yeah, they can. I just wanted to really get as much of it put together as I could within the given time I had, and that worked out really well. I plan on, if all works well, after the European tour, I have a month before we start the U.S. dates, and so I'm hoping to do all the finishing touches on the third album at that time.
Oh, cool. And now let me ask you, because again, it seems like, I think you're very smart with going with a name like Operation Mindcrime, because Queensryche fans immediately, Geoff Tate fans, they know what that is, and it's got a bit of a history, and it does kind of give you also kind of a band identity. Is that kind of the goal you had in mind here?
Yeah, absolutely. Identification, and also I think Operation Mindcrime, the phrase kind of sets the tone for what kind of music or what style of music they'll be doing and concentrating on, which is conceptual music and storytelling music. And
so I assume once all 3 albums are out, at that point you'll be able to kind of the stage will be kind of where you'll be breaking it up into 3 separate sets. Is that the plan, or just you include music at that point from all 3 albums?
Gosh, Jason, you're really thinking down the road, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for planning out my entire future.
well, no, it's just to me, I put the CD on it, and it really grabbed my attention, and I just, it's very exciting for me, just the thoughts of what you're going to do with this,
No, that's good. Yeah, well, that's definitely, something that comes to mind, when you're telling a story that's involved, is that you play the whole thing all at one time. Pretty amazing, I think.
Yeah.
Just a long show, though.
Yeah, and I won't bother getting into the concept, because I think people want to do that. They can go on your website and kind of read up about that. And I seen where you had you did an electronic press kit kind of talking about that. But when talking about concepts, do you like to kind of tell people, okay, this is what the concept is based on, or would you rather them kind of listen to the album and kind of kind of come up with their own conclusion, or okay, this is what I get out of the music?
Well, I think it makes for a more interesting listen.
Yeah.
And you come up with your own ideas, based on what you're listening to. Definitely, I prefer that. But a lot of people, they want a little background. They want a starter, a jump start. We all hear music different. We all experience it differently. And some people, they can't follow along. So a little, like the operas used to do. They used to issue what was called a libretto, which was kind of a summary of the opera, and then kind of help people follow along what was going on.
And let me ask you, Geoff, because I've seen two of these videos you put out, one for Reinventing the Future and one for the song Burn. Again, I was very impressed, just like classic looking, stuff you'd see on MTV. How involved were you with the making of those videos as far as, again, coming up with the concepts, or did you have a director come in and kind of help you with that?
Oh, yeah. Jamie Chamberlain was the director on both of those videos, and he's a wonderful guy. He's a Seattle guy, runs Black Dahlia Films, and Jamie just came over for dinner one night, and we had dinner, a couple bottles of wine, and went out to the studio, and I started playing him the music and talking about conceptually what was going on, and he's one of those kind of guys, very creative, artistic type, who can brainstorm with you. And we just kind of sat around and talked about the concept for the videos the whole time, and came up with the ideas, and then about a week later we shot it.
And I was reading too today, like you're saying, that you're getting ready to go and do some European shows, I guess in November. How excited are you about that? Has it been a while since you've played in Europe?
Gosh, yeah, we were just talking about that today. I think it's been 3 years.
Wow.
Played Europe. Yeah, a little while. But looking forward to going overseas and touring it. I love traveling.
Oh, okay.
I'm just a diehard traveler, and I've been very lucky and fortunate to have played shows in 56 countries now around the world.
Wow.
And on this trip coming up, I'm going to add 3 more countries to my list. So I'm very excited about that.
Wow. And so what's that like to go to a place? Even people sending you emails and visiting your Facebook page. I imagine you must get fan mail from people all around the world. And amazingly, doing this as long as you've done, like you said, there's obviously places that you've never even performed in. So how interesting is it to get a fan letter from somebody saying, and you haven't even toured that country yet, or in the last 30 years? That's got to be pretty amazing feeling,
Oh, it's great. Yeah. Actually, just before I'm talking with you now. I was talking to a gentleman in Moscow, and we had an interview. And then earlier today, I had an interview with a woman from Hungary. So, yeah, it's every day it's very interesting having conversations with people in different parts of the world, and hearing their perspective and their point of view on things, how they listen to music, what they like, what's happening in their city or country, the news regarding what's going on there. It's fascinating. I love it.
And now, one of the guys I see that plays on the album is David Ellefson, the bass player from Megadeth. I was curious, how did you, get him to play on the album? How did you guys hook up?
Kind of an interesting story. Last year, I was asked to perform a show in South America, and so I'm on a plane flight, and I get seated next to Dave, and he's going down to do the same show, and I'd never met him. He never met me. We knew who each other were, of course, but we'd never met, and so we ended up spending 18 hours on the flight, sitting next to each other, and kind of got to know each other really well. We were talking music and touring and family and kids and sports and everything, and we're talking about what we were doing project-wise, and I was explaining to him this new project that I was writing for the trilogy. And about a week later, after I got home, I got an email from him with a song idea. So this is inspired by our conversation.
Wow.
If you'd like to use it on your record, feel free, let's talk. So we started a nice dialogue about the song and developed it, and it turned into the track Re-Inventing the Future on the T album.
And another guy I want to ask you about was obviously Simon Wright, who you've been working with the last couple of years. Simon is an interesting character to me because for years, people just thought of him as like the drummer for, played in AC/DC, but he played with Ronnie James Dio for years, and music he's made with you, is a lot more complex than say your typical AC/DC song. So I think people have been amazed to see the kind of music he's been recording over the last few years. How did you and Simon first hook up? Because he's just an amazing drummer to me.
Well, Queensrÿche opened up for AC/DC.
Wow.
Several times,
Yeah.
and so I knew Simon from then. I think 1986 is when I first met him.
Yeah.
And we just hit it off. We both like to drink, and so we have a drink in the pub and play a game of darts and hang out and get some food and talk music, and just kind of became friends. And he's a fantastic drummer. He's very versatile.
Yeah.
And, that's the thing that it's difficult because people always want to categorize everything.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, I hate that.
Simon is like completely unique. I mean, he can groove and play a grooving, rock beat like AC/DC, and he can also play in like multiple time signatures and do these insane drum fills and in very bizarre time. And I mean, he's just very very fluid. Musician.
I mean, I'm impressed with like the list of musicians you surround. I mean, Brian Tichy, he's another one. I mean, forget for a minute what a phenomenal drummer the guy is. I mean, but he can also strap on a guitar, and he's a very versatile musician as well. So
he can strap on a guitar and also sing a pretty amazing lead vocal too.
Yeah. Now let me ask you, as far as touring, do you have a touring lineup kind of set up? A list of these guys are going out, or is it kind of like whoever's available?
Yeah, actually for the European tour, it's going to be Simon on drums and John Moyer on bass, and Kelly Gray and Scott Motton on guitar, and Randy Gain and myself on keyboards, and I think that's it.
And now, of course, Geoff, everybody knows you're what a great singer you are, but I was also reading on one of the songs that you actually play saxophone. I was curious, how old were you when you first started learning how to play the saxophone?
Oh, gosh, I was about 10, I guess, 4th grade. I started in school band with saxophone and played in band all through school days,
Yeah. And another thing I want to kind of ask you about, going back a couple years ago, you did a duet with Bruce Dickinson and Rob Halford when Rob Halford put out his first Halford album. Could you talk a little bit about how that came together and what your memories are of recording, with those two guys?
Did they record it?
Well, Rob Halford, on one of his solo albums, there was like a duet between you, I think it was you and Bruce Dickinson and Rob. I don't know if they put the voices together or what.
I don't know about if it's a recording on an album. I don't know about that. I know I sang a song at his show in London with Bruce years ago.
Yeah, I think it was called like The One You Love to Hate Her, so I'll have to look that up for you. But it was a number of years ago on one of Rob Halford's solo albums.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know they released it on a record. Yeah.
Well, that's something to go check out, I guess. But okay. And I also want to ask you, I was seeing that you've got a thing where you put out wine or something. Is that just something where you're kind of using your name to promote the product, or are you actually involved with the winemaking?
Oh yeah, I'm involved with the winemaking. I'm a dedicated wine fan, and I have my own brand called Insania, and we manufacture and grow grapes. We have a red and a white, and the new European vintage is coming out this year, actually, this month, November. Yeah, so I'm real excited about that. It's our first European vintage. It's white grapes that are grown in Germany, actually.
Wow.
The Alsace, French-German border, that area right there is fantastic for white wines.
Wow, how exciting is that? Now, as far as the European tour, are you guys going to be playing like big size like arenas and stadiums? Is it going to be clubs or theaters or what?
Yeah, clubs and theaters. Yeah. Queensrÿche has never been a big stadium band.
Yeah, kind of, I guess, depending on the area you guys play. Yeah.
Yeah, even when we had a hit song on the radio, you know, we only did one tour headlining ourselves, and we tried to play, coliseums and things like that, but we didn't sell them out. You know, we weren't that kind of band that was. We never were like a big band. You know, we were just kind of a cult, weird fringe band. You know, that some people really liked a lot.
Well, I mean, it seemed like you guys really peaked. I mean, the two albums really that most people point to when they talk about Queensryche is Operation Mindcrime, obviously, and Empire. Those kind of, you know, the go-to albums, I think, for most people, and then everybody kind of compared what you guys did after that. Now, let me ask you, in regards to the Operation Mindcrime stuff, the other band, are they at all allowed to play any of that material, or is that strictly for your use now?
Oh gosh, I can't remember exactly what the
agreement was.
The settlement are. But you know what, Jason, I got to tell you, when you say peaked, you got to take it in context, you know, of what the situation is and was. You know, that's where that right at the Empire album was where the music industry radically changed.
Hey, Geoff. Yeah, let me make it clear here. If you're not understanding what I'm saying, maybe it came out wrong. Because I've been a diehard Queensryche fan for years now. You know, when you and the band split up, I was doing all this stuff where people were saying, oh, you know, the last few Queensryche albums, they weren't as good. But you know, to me, again, I'm a fan of everything. I thought it was all pretty good. But I guess what I'm trying to say is those are the albums that most people think, you know, the most popular albums that people tend to think of when they think of you know, Queensryche, but you know.
Yeah, those are the albums that were most purchased.
Yeah, but you guys, I mean, I give it credit to you and the other guys in the other band because you guys are still here doing it all these years later. So you know, you're doing something right. I would call you. Some people might call you Dinosaur Rock, but I call you guys survivors because you're still here doing it. And like I was saying at the top of the interview, I think it's great what you're doing with Operation Mindcrime because. You know, you could have made this the Geoff Tate show, and that might have worked. But I'm impressed that, number one, you surround yourself with very talented musicians that are equally as talented as you. You're not just you could just continually to go out and perform Operation Mindcrime in its entirety, but with this trilogy product, you know, you're giving fans, you know, something new. I mean, we're getting 3 new albums in the next 2 years right off the bat, so I think that's pretty special in itself, you know.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of information you just gave me there to comment on it. I don't know where to start, but it is interesting that your statement about considering me a dinosaur band.
No, not
interesting.
Not again. That came out wrong. That's not what I think. I'm saying I go online probably like you, Geoff. I read a lot of stuff that people say, and like I'm a type of guy that
Jason, I don't do that.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
I don't go online and listen and read what people say.
Yeah. Well, I don't care either. I mean, I'm the type of guy that like I can listen to Queensryche and be just as much of a Kiss fan. They're two totally different types of bands, but I get down on both types of band. But before I let you go, Geoff, because it seems like some of the stuff I said came out wrong. Because I guess when I say you know, Dinosaur Rock. Some people would claim, okay, this is a guy that's been doing over 30 years, but that's the reason I respect a guy like you. You're still in the game, you know, and I have to respect what you're doing because let me tell you, you're talking to a guy who's not even a singer, a musician. I could never do what you do, Geoff, and but I can't tell you how excited I was all day just at the thought of getting to talk to you again, you know, because I just think this is a great album. I love what you're doing now, and it doesn't have to be. I mean, we don't have to talk all day about your former lead singer of Queensryche because what you're doing to me, what you're doing today right now is very. I'm impressed with it myself. You know.
Oh, thank you. No, I wasn't commenting on the Dinosaur Rock comments as a negative. I don't take it as a negative.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of curious because I'm interested in social evolution and sociology and why people do the things they do.
Yeah.
I'm interested in the idea behind why somebody would call a band or an artist a dinosaur.
Yeah.
Is that
I don't necessarily think it's meant to be derogatory. I think what they're trying to say. Okay, this is a guy that's been doing it like for 20, 30 years, and a lot of people, a lot of people listening to this interview, for example, and you must get this, when you go out there to perform and talk to your fans. I bet there's people that still think you're the lead singer of Queensryche. They have no idea about this other band, Operation Mindcrime. So a lot of people that go online and make these comments, they don't even have any idea that you've had this new band, and then you're not even in Queensryche anymore. So that has a lot to do with statements like that, I think.
Oh yeah. That's what you're getting at.
Yeah.
Okay, cool, interesting.
And
I just don't know why the term dinosaur would be considered a derogatory term, even.
Well, yeah, I don't even think it's meant to be. Yeah, I don't even think it's meant to be derogatory. I think it's just it's a lazy way of people saying, like instead of people going out and maybe they haven't heard anything you've done since the last Queensryche album, but instead of just basing you on the last album you made with Queensryche, before they go and say anything negative about what you're doing now, maybe they should go at least listen to one of the tracks off Operation Mindcrime and then make a judgment call. That's what I think, personally.
Well, yeah, that makes sense. I think music is one of those things that's a very personal journey for everyone, and you can't expect that your music as a songwriter is going to resonate with everybody.
Yeah.
And everybody also can't expect that your music is going to resonate with them.
Yeah.
Automatically.
Yeah, and I'll tell you a quick story, Geoff. The last time I did see you perform with Queensryche was when you guys opened up for you were touring with Alice Cooper at the time and Heaven and Hell, which was Black Sabbath with Ronnie James Dio. I think that's the last tour you did. And the thing about that show is all three bands they were on that night. I got to say, and people come to that show. We got a dynamite performance from three great legendary bands. And before I let you go, kind of what we were talking about, people go online and talking smack. The best example that I can give you is this online magazine that I'm doing this interview with you today for. I have people send me all time CDs and stuff to review, and I'm a huge Ritchie Blackmore fan, but I'm mostly a fan of like Rainbow and Deep Purple. Obviously, that's where I came to know the guy from, and he's been doing this neoclassical stuff with his wife called Blackmore's Night. And I heard a lot of things for years, like, it sounds nothing like Deep Purple or Rainbow, which it doesn't. But his publicist sent me a copy of his last CD. And I thought, okay, you know what? Before I just go and say I don't like this, I'm gonna give this honest, fair review. I'm gonna listen to it. And I got to tell you, I was pleasantly surprised. I'm a new fan of Blackmore's Night, and the thing that taught me is, okay, I gave it a fair listen, and you know what? I have a new opinion now of what he's doing now. Whereas if I wouldn't have bothered to listen to the whole CD, I might not be a fan of what he's doing now. You know what I mean?
Do you read record reviews?
Yeah, I mean, I write record reviews. In fact, your publicist, he sent me like a download of the key, but I already had the album the day it came out, and so along with this interview, I'm going to write up a review of the key.
Can you give me a reason why, Jason, that anybody should read your opinion about my record?
Well, I don't think it matters necessarily what I think, but the reason I write the reviews is, like, I'm a music fan myself, and you can tell, like, I'm aware of what you've done over years, Geoff, and like, people tell me, okay, all the reviews I read that are up on your site, there's not a bad review, and the thing with that is, I don't want to bother trashing anybody. Like I said, I'm not a musician myself, so I've total respect for anybody who get up on stage and even attempt to perform live on stage. And so I would rather spread the love about bands such as Queensryche, Alice Cooper, whoever. If I get a chance to review any of this stuff, and I like your album Operation Mindcrime, I kind of want to spread the word about, and then people can go buy it or not, and based on their own opinion, they can spread the word. But that's kind of what I do for.
Well, I'm just curious because I reviews.
Uh-huh.
I don't read anything that somebody has an opinion on when it's something subjective, like art, for example. I think if you're buying an appliance, it's probably a good idea to see like the service records and things like that. If you're going to buy a car, certain kind of cars break down more. But when you're talking about art, it's a completely subjective concept. It's different for everybody. So why would one person's opinion mean anything?
Yeah, I mean,
to somebody that's going to buy it, for example.
Yeah, I must say, you've given me a lot to think about here today. I never would have thought of it the way. I mean, as far as why I started writing these CD reviews for the site that I do interviews for, is I thought, okay, I get off on this Operation Mindcrime CD. I'd love to tell everybody about, not necessarily what I think about, but that I love it. And maybe it'll allow other people.
Yeah, because you're excited about it. You found inspiration in it, maybe, or you found that it pleased you, so you want to share that with people.
Yeah, see,
I get that completely.
Yeah, and see, there are other people which I don't understand, that they want to like review a CD or just for the sole purpose of trashing somebody, which I really don't dig. Like, I would rather write someone positive about a band that I really love. A CD review, or just even doing this interview, talking to you. I mean, I've been so excited about it all day just because I'm such a Geoff Tate and Queensryche fan, myself, and so I want people to listen to this interview. They can hear about this great CD you have out, and hopefully they'll go out and buy it. Hopefully they'll come to your show. That's what I hope to get out of it, is kind of get other people to check it out. And it has very little to do with my opinion, and you really gave me something to think about. Like, well, why would you want? Why should somebody go out and buy it just because of your opinion? So I thank you for that, Geoff, because you kind of educated me. I never really would have thought about that.
Well, I didn't mean it as a
No.
a slam.
No. But
let me just comment on something you just said.
Yeah.
You said that some writers review a record with the intention of trashing it. My question is, how can they trash it if they are, one, not musicians, do not play music?
Exactly.
Where's their expertise?
Yeah.
Where's their opinion have any validity?
Yeah. You're absolutely right.
Really, so really, it just comes down to, I like it, I don't.
Yeah.
Hope you. Right.
Yeah. Hope you do. And see, that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing. Like, when I interview people like you, I think to myself right off the bat, well, you know what? Before you go and trash what this guy is doing, could you do that? Could you even get to the level that this guy's at? He's been doing it for 30 years, so he's obviously doing something right. That's just my whole thing.
That's definitely one way to look at it.
Yeah.
I always look at it like this. If I don't like music, it's simply because the music did not
didn't touch you.
It didn't affect me.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that it won't affect me. It just didn't at that particular time. For example, I'm a huge David Bowie fan.
Yeah.
I've listened to everything he's done over the years. Several years ago, he came out with this album called Earthling, and I bought it at the Virgin Record Store in London, and I put it in my CD player, and I heard it, and you know what? I didn't care for it.
Yeah.
I didn't care for it. But I kept the album, and about 6 months later, I put it in and listened to it again, and I started to appreciate it. But it took that long for me to be in the right headspace to be receptive of what his music was saying, And I think it's that way with all music. Sometimes you're in the right mood. Sometimes it speaks to you because the song is about something you personally experienced, or it paints the right kind of mood or picture for something that you're doing or something that you have done. So it conjures up a memory. There's all kinds of things. It's an incredibly, again, very subjective art. It's different for everyone.
Yeah. Let me tell you, like my experience as far as Queensryche goes. Like I first you guys came on my radar around the time of Rage Forward, or around the time that was released, and it was just great heavy rock. But I heard like Walking in the Shadows. That was the first song I ever heard from you guys. And something about it just touched my pulse, and I wanted to go out and get the album, and then I've been a fan ever since. I think, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Geoff, but being an artist, you must get this all the time. Where I think a lot of people, when they react to an artist negatively, it has a lot to do with, maybe, like I said, a lot of people, fans tend to base a band like on one album or something, and they expect every album to sound the same. Is that something you've kind of experienced in your career?
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's and I don't have any sort of animosity to people that feel that way. I just would say, if you have that kind of attitude about art and about music, you're constantly going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
Because art is meant to change. It's meant to advance, evolve. That's the nature of it. It can't be art if it's static and the same. So, you're going to constantly be disappointed throughout your life if you cling to that concept,
Yeah, and I know you're very busy in your own musical career, Geoff, but I was curious, do you ever get a chance to check out new bands yourself, like when you're touring, or just are there any new bands that you're really digging these days?
Well, usually I don't listen to other bands or other music while I'm making records.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of too distracting for me. But when I go on the road and I'm traveling around, that's where I listen to people the most. Yeah. And I'm looking forward to doing that when I take off on the road next week. But hey, Jason, I hate to cut.
No. I'm going to let you go. I realize you're busy. I just, to be honest, I just enjoying the conversation we're having. But thanks so much. Thanks so much for doing this, Geoff. And
where are you located at?
I'm based out of Long Beach, California, which is near Los Angeles.
Oh yeah. We're playing down there in February. Near there.
Well, I'm gonna try to come catch a show because I really want to see what you guys are doing. So you guys will be headlining, right? All these shows in the U.S.
Yeah. Come by and hang out and say hi, and we'll have a drink or something.
Well, we'll do. Well, you take care, Geoff, and I just want to say before I let you go, I really enjoyed talking to you, and I'm really enjoying this new Operation Mindcrime, and I hope it all goes well for you. So take care, my friend, and good luck on the European tour next week.
All right. Well, thank you, Jason, and good conversation, man. I appreciate it.
Okay, yeah.
Take care.
Thanks. Bye-bye.